Hi, my name is Kreton Mavromatis, and I'm speaking to you from Emory University. And I have here with me George Hanzel from Beaumont Hospital in Detroit, Michigan. And we're here to talk to you a little bit about the new results from the recent ACC scientific sections and a little bit about the new FDA approvals. George, what did you think about ACC this year?
Kreton, it's good to see you. And ACC was incredible this year. I think we had some very exciting and data regarding structural heart disease that we can share. I think first off, the PARTNER 5-year data was really, I think, quite stunning in a couple ways. There have been a lot of concerns regarding the durability of SAPIEN valve and transcatheter valves in general. I think we can say that there have been really no cases of structural valve deterioration and really very good valve performance. And when we compare the SAPIEN valve to surgery, really there's equivalent mortality and stroke out to 5 years. So really, I think, solid data from PARTNER 5-year data.
I agree, George. What did you think about the SAPIEN 3 valve?
The SAPIEN 3, I think, really knocks your socks off. When you look at the aortic regurgitation rate, it's really there's 0.1% of patients with severe aortic regurg and about 3.5% with moderate. So really made, the skirt has made an incredible reduction in perivalvular aortic regurgitation. What's also, I think, even more impressive is mortality rates. When we look at the mortality rate for the intermediate risk group patients, it's 1.1%, and for the inoperable and high risk, it's about 2.2%. So I think we've really, have had an incredible reduction in mortality rate in the SAPIEN 3 trial.
I agree. I was very impressed, and it could really change the face of TAVR as we know it today, making it even a safer procedure. I was very impressed by the CoreValve data too. The 2-year results from the CoreValve surgery versus transcatheter aortic valve replacement showed continued superiority to surgery, really establishing TAVR as probably the treatment of choice for high-risk surgical patients.
No, that's really dramatic data coming out from the 2-year CoreValve data. I totally agree with that.
What did you think about MitraClip? The TVT registry showed some pretty impressive early results.
Yeah, so I think that we're always concerned when we go from a rigorous clinical trial to more general use and broad use, how it's going to affect patient outcomes. And I think that the 500 or so patients that were reported from the TVT registry was really pretty amazing. These patients obviously were all inoperable patients that were treated, inoperable degenerative patients. And the mortality rate was 2.3%. So really pretty impressive. And what's I think even more impressive is they got really a fantastic reduction in mitral regurgitation. A little over 90% of patients had less than or equal to 2+ mitral regurgitation. That's a little bit better than was seen in the Everest trial. Secondly, and I think very importantly in these elderly, frail patients, the length of stay was only 3 days, and 90% went home. And so I think that's a lot to be said for the fact this procedure is has minimal morbidity related to it.
Yeah, I was also very impressed by MitraClip, and I look forward to using it in the future. As far as new technology, I was excited about the TriGuard embolic deflector. It is an early study of this kind of embolic protection device used during TAVR. And while there was not a lot of clinical outcomes data, it did show less MRI brain lesions when it was used compared to standard of care. So we may be looking at a new technology which can reduce the risk of stroke from some of our transcatheter procedures like TAVR.
Absolutely. I think whether it's the TriGuard or Umbrella or Claret, I think we got some really interesting technologies, adjunctive technologies of TAVR to continue to reduce risk of perioperative complications. Speaking
of new technology, what do you think about the FDA approval of Watchman?
Finally. So after 3 panels, we finally had approval of the Watchman device. So, I think that, this is really going to be a great technology for a lot of patients out there that are not optimal anticoagulation candidates. I think that, when you look at the approval, it's for patients who qualify for anticoagulation based on CHAS or CHAS-VASc, who are candidates for warfarin, but aren't optimal candidates. So I think there's actually a large population of patients that could benefit from this technology.
Yeah, I think it's going to slowly grow in use in these patients who either can't be anticoagulated or just simply don't want to be. Right. But we'll have to see how that plays out. And it's also notable, George, that SCAI was the only organization to testify on behalf of the Watchman device in front of the FDA. So we can thank our leaders in SCAI. For more information about Watchman, please see our upcoming image review, which will show a great case of the Watchman device being put into use. And stay tuned for more journal scans talking about new developments in the TAVR and structural heart disease literature.
Great.
Great talking to you, George. Thanks a lot.